My name is Dan Carney. I have the privilege once again as chairing this meeting of the Board of Trustees of Weatherford College, being held on Thursday, December the 19th, 2024 at 12:30 p.m. in the community room of the Emerging Technologies and Workforce Building, 225 College Park Drive, Weatherford, Texas, to consider and act upon a posted agenda. In deliberations with us today will be Vice Chairman Doug Dowd, Secretary Leila Morris, Ms. Judy McAnally, Ms. Mary Beth Denny, G.B. Bailey, and Dr. Trev Dixon. Dr. Robert Marlette is under the weather today, so he's unable to participate with us today. I do call this meeting to order at this time, and Mr. Baker, would you provide an invocation for us?
Yes, sir, I'd be happy to. Please bow with me. Lord, we're very thankful to you for this season. Thank you for the wonderful things it brings and the time we get to spend with our families and think about the great year you've given us and the things to come. We thank you for that. We pray that our faculty and staff and students will come back in January recharged and ready to go. Thank you for this board, and please be with them not only today as they deliberate, but for the entire month. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Those who are able, please stand. I'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 2 on the agenda is public comment for individuals not on the agenda. Mr. Baker, do we have anyone signed up to speak?
We do not.
Thank you, Mr. Baker. Item number 3 is the President's report. President Todd Allen Farmer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair and members of the Weatherford College Board of Trustees, I would like to give a few brief recognitions, employee notices, and an enrollment update. Recognitions. December is Board Appreciation Month, and we have had tremendous success at Weatherford College as a result of our faculty, our staff, our students, our donors, all of our VIPs in the community. But I will tell you, without reservation, that the magic would not have happened without this Board of Trustees. Their governance and leadership has been phenomenal, and I would ask each of you to join me in showing your appreciation for the Weatherford College Board of Trustees. I think you'll find some Weatherford College bling wrapped up there for you in appreciation, and so I hope you enjoy that. Congratulations to our very own Samantha Grimsley on recently being named the 2024 Texas EMS Educator of the Year. Samantha's in the audience. Samantha, do you have your plaque or trophy with you there that you can brag a little bit on? Pull that bad boy out. Congratulations. Weatherford College and Sam Houston State University recently entered a new partnership designed to create seamless transfer pathways for WC students. Graduates of the WC Bachelor's in Organizational Leadership program now enjoy a direct pathway to Sam Houston State University's Master of Business Administration program. The WC volleyball team completed the season with a 9th place finish at the national tournament. Under head coach Kylie May, the WC volleyball program now has an 86-22 overall record with 3 conference titles, a regional championship, and 2 top 10 national tournament finishes. WC has had 5 student athletes named All-American in 2024, the most in a calendar year in college history. Exceptional things continue to happen in WC athletics. Go Coyotes! Finally, we have Valerie Hopkins and in her little Santa outfit. Who else do we have? Val, are you the only one?
This is Desiree. I have Desiree with me. I'll take my students to lunch.
Okay. Well, y'all stand up. We have our cosmetology students go out every month, and they do the hair and nails and toenails of our nursing home residents across the county. And today they went out and delivered some Christmas goodies to all of those residing in the nursing home. So
we filled 76 stockings, bags full of sweatpants, socks, house shoes,
And Val's also the little Christmas elf that decorated the presidential dining suite. So, Valerie, thank you to you and yours. Employee notices. DMAC Local requires the college president to provide the names of contract employees that have resigned since the last board meeting. William Dove, an instructor in information technology, has resigned effective 11/30/24. Jade Saltz, the coordinator in student support services, has resigned effective 12/6/24. And Jim Carmichael, our Windows system administrator, has retired effective 1/31/25. We thank William, Jade, and Jim for their service and wish them the very best in future endeavors. Enrollment report. As of Monday, December 16th, we had 4,317 students registered for the spring 2024 semester, compared to a year-to-date enrollment of 3,360 students last year. With enrollment ongoing, that represents an increase of 557 students, or a 14.8% enrollment increase. Required board training. Policy BBD Legal requires an annual report of compliance with Texas College trustee training requirements. I am pleased to report that all WC trustees are fully trained, including our newest trustee, Mary Beth Denny, who completed training at the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board Leadership Conference in Austin last week. Mr. Chair, that concludes the President's report.
Thank you very much, Dr. Farmer. I believe we're down to item 4, the consent agenda and financial reports. Those items A through H, which have been posted properly. Are there any comments from any member of the board about any of those items? Do I hear a motion to approve as presented? So moved. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Raise your hand, please. It is unanimous. Thank you very much. Item number 5, consideration of possible action on the 2023-2024 financial audit. Miss Lisa, I think.
I'm here. I'm back.
Don't everybody jump up at one time, okay?
Lisa has done a great job in the last 2 months in my absence.
Okay.
And she prepared everything to get ready for this board meeting, so she
All right.
likely did it. But and during this time, from August on, the Snow, Garrett, and Williams have been working with us to prepare our audit. As required by January 1st, we're to have an audit in Austin, Texas. So today is your approval of that, hopefully. But I'll turn this over to Kathy right now. They've done a great job, and I think you'll be very happy with the results.
Thank you, Kathy.
Very good. Well, good afternoon, board members. I'm Kathy Williams, a partner with Snow Garrett Williams. I have Reva Long with me. She's a senior audit manager with our firm and is very important in getting all of this done. And I also want to recognize Andra, Lisa, and Michelle. They help us out so much in getting to this point. We ask a lot of questions. We need to see a lot of documentation. And they are really good at gathering that information and answering our questions. So we're very grateful to them. And I can't outdo the dog. That is anyway, and I won't take much of your time. But we will get started on page 3 of your bound audit reports. You'll see there on page 3 on our letterhead the independent auditor's report. It states there at the top of the page in the second paragraph you'll see our opinion, which tells you that this is the report on the financial statements for Weatherford College as of and for the years ended August 31st, 2024 and 2023. And it goes on to state that those financial statements are presented fairly in all material respects in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. So that is what is called a clean or unmodified opinion, and that's what you want to see. In the back of the report, there are 2 other opinions. One is regarding governmental audit standards and internal control and compliance. The other one is related to the single audit on compliance related to your federal funding. Both of those were clean or unmodified as well, and there were no findings to report. So again, those are all good things that you want to hear. If you'll turn over to page 15, we will start with your statements of net position, which are like the balance sheet of the college. This first page shows mostly your assets And you'll see there that total assets toward the middle of the page were $235,831,000 compared to approximately $214 million the year before, an increase of nearly $22 million or 10.3% from the prior year. And almost all of that was related to your increases in capital assets, which is no surprise, and we'll see this in several places. About half of that is related to your the donation of the golf course at Canyon West. You also were in the process of completing the construction on the Durant Hall, and then you had a lot of equipment purchases too in various areas throughout the college. You'll turn to the next page, on page 16. This is the second page of your statements of net position, and it has your liabilities and net position of the college. Your total current liabilities increased about $3.3 million from $23 million to $26.3 million at the end of August of 24. Your non-current liabilities decreased just over $4 million from $97.8 million to $93.7 million, and that's primarily due to payments on your debt throughout the year. And your total liabilities at the end of August of 24 were $120,070,717. At the bottom of the page, you'll see that the college's total net position was at $109,344,000 compared to about $87 million the year before. So an increase of over $22.6 million from the year before in your net position. You'll turn now to page 18. On page 18, you will find your statements of revenue, expenses, and changes in net position. The top portion of this statement shows the college's operating revenues. It's no surprise to anyone when you hear those kind of enrollment numbers that tuition and fees increased from the 23 to 24 fiscal years from about $13 million to just over $14.4 million in tuition and fees, an increase of about $1.4 million. Total operating revenues, the total of that section actually decreased from $27.8 million to $24.9 million. Most of that is related to, you'll see under auxiliary enterprises that fiscal year 23 had $5,037,000 of revenue, and this year had $3,284,000 of revenue. That's related to an appraisal on the Carter Ag property in the 23 fiscal year. So you had a significant increase in fair market value, and that property is not appraised every year. But that's why there's that big difference there. Your operating expenses for the college totaled over $58.1 million. As you would expect, your largest areas of expenses included instruction, institutional support, and your auxiliary enterprises. When we subtract the operating expenses from your operating revenue, it results in an operating loss of the year of $33.2 million. Then you have to add back your non-operating revenue, and then you also have that special item capital contribution this year. So your non-operating revenues totaled $45.8 million. That includes your state appropriations, which increased from the prior year, property taxes, part of the federal grant revenue, the non-operating portion of that, as well as your investment income of over $1.6 million. And then that next line item, special item capital contribution, is related. That is the Canyon West golf course property that was donated to the college, and it was valued at $10,060,860. When we add back those two items to the net operating loss, it results in an increase in net position for the year of $22,634,417 compared to that $13 million increase the prior year. I'll point out just quickly on the next page, we do include the Weatherford College Foundation financial statements as part of the college audit. I don't usually go over those, although this one also is very positive and shows an increase in net assets of over $1.4 million. The foundation has its own separate audit that we also do and present to their board. But I just wanted you to know that that information is required to be included. That's why it's in there. So, a lot of information, a lot more pages that I'm not going to go over because the dog will be much more interesting than me. But if you have questions, I'll be glad to try and answer them. Yes, sir.
You may have gone through evaluation of the net asset value of the college.
Well, it doesn't really show in financial statements in accordance
you
with
didn't
generally
appraise-
accepted accounting principles.
You
because-
didn't appraise that.
We were talking about the Carter property, I
Yes, that was
think,
just the Carter
from the
property,
last
that
year
ag property.
that we had appraised, that we're required to do every so
On
often.
the side, can you give me what we figure our net asset value is? You don't have to right now.
I can get that for you.
Thank you.
I will be
Well,
glad
and,
to.
I mean, technically, the net position of the college would be similar to the net asset valuation, but the college as a whole is not required to value, get every piece of property appraised every year. The only reason the ag property is appraised is because it's actually held as an investment. And then the donation was required to be appraised because in order to determine that value when you receive a donation, it has to have that appraised value. But the college as a whole doesn't have a net asset value. But the net position is the total assets minus the liabilities. That's going to be as close to that as you're going to get. But financial statements are on more of a historical cost basis. And so it may not be exactly what you were looking for.
And we definitely have that over in the office. We do depreciation each year on those funds now. We didn't used to have to do depreciate, but we do now. And so I'll get that to you, and for anyone else too that would like to see it.
Thank you.
Mr. Dowd, any questions? Nope. You're good. I think we're looking good.
Yes, you are. It was another very successful year for the college, as all of you know. With increased enrollment and continued improvements, it's great to see. So
It really is. Thank you for your help.
you're welcome.
We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Y'all have a Merry Christmas.
Thank
Thank you
you
so much
so
for your
much.
time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda, County Justice Center Steering Committee. Dr. Farmer, you have a comment about that, do you not?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. The steering committee for the County Justice Steering Committee has withdrawn their request to speak to the Board of Trustees, and they may reapproach us at a later date, so no action necessary on agenda item number 6 at this time.
Thank you very much. Item number 7, consideration possible action ordering the general election for trustee places 1 and 2 for May 3, 2025. Mr. Baker, would you address that?
Yes, sir, be happy to. Elections for members of the Board of Trustees, as you know, they're held in May of odd-numbered years. Our next election will be held this coming May 3rd, 2025, for the 6-year terms of Place 1 held by Mary Beth Denny and Place 2 held by Judy McAnally. The first day to file for a place on the ballot is Wednesday, January 15th. The deadline to file for the general election is February the 14th. And state law requires the board to actually formally order the election, so we're asking you to do that today, to order the election for Board of Trustees for May 3rd, 2025.
Okay, if there's any other more formal language required, please advise, but otherwise it appears I need a motion ordering the general election for trustee places 1 and 2 for May 3, 2025. Do I have such a motion made?
I make that motion.
Do I, and a second by Mr. Dowd. All in favor, please raise your hand. It is unanimous. So approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 8 being some reports from Dr. Todd Farmer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have our WCWC Academics and Student Services update in written format as usual. And then we have some very special guests with us here today from our Vet Tech program, led by Priscilla Martinez. So Priscilla, the floor is yours.
I'm Dr. Adriana Pantazis. I'm program director for
Oh.
Vet Tech.
My apologies. My notes say Priscilla.
Well, Priscilla has Sushi, so she is.
I'm one of the instructors for the program.
Oh, okay.
I offered to let Sushi do the presentation today, but unfortunately her English is not sufficient yet. But stress is on point.
Now tell us who it is that you have with you today.
So this is Sushi. Sushi is one of our.
Does she allow you to pick her up?
She does.
Okay, Our cameraman would love to have a photograph.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Sushi helps out with a lot of our student learning, so she's in our laboratories and she's there to be listened to, poked, prodded, picked up, put down, and everything else.
Okay.
She is one of the most well-mannered, good-natured dogs I've ever met. But we're here to just give a quick update on the veterinary technology program here at Weatherford College. Our first update is just some program updates. Obviously, there have been a few faculty changes within our program. I am the newest program director. I started here in July following the retirement of Dr. Ron Epps. And then Priscilla Martinez joined us in August. So we are all very excited to be here. I think I'm shorter than the podium. But that's kind of our first main update. Obviously, there's some new phases with the program. We've also moved to update our admissions criteria to include a math requirement for our students. We feel that that gives them a little bit more guidance as they come into the program and helps them to be more prepared for the rigor of our curriculum. And then finally, I've updated our program retention policy. So in the past, our policy was that if a student received lower than a C in any course, they were immediately dropped from the program. So we now have given them just a little bit of grace by allowing them to maintain a C or above in all of their classes. If they receive a D in one class, they get the opportunity to retake that class. It keeps them in the program, it keeps them engaged, and it keeps them loving what they do. We still maintain that policy if we can't meet those grade requirements with a D. More than once, they do get dropped from the program, but they have the opportunity to reapply. But we feel that this gives our students more engagement and more love for their program, and it really has encouraged them to work so hard this semester. A little bit about our cohorts. So our third cohort actually graduated in May of 2024, and we graduated 10 students in this program. Our cohort 4, which is our group that's upcoming for graduation here in May of 2025, we have 16 students in the program, and 14 are on track to graduate. Our first year cohort, so cohort 5, we actually started 21 students this year, and we have just gotten our grades in, and we know that 20 of those students are actually continuing into their next semester, which is the best retention that we have seen through that first semester so far in this program. So we are incredibly proud of all of their hard work. A little bit about our program accreditation. So our program is currently under initial accreditation, which means that the ABMA still has to come back in 2027 to accredit our program fully to make sure that we have met all the requirements that they need us to meet. So we are in the process of making sure that everything is organized and ready for that accreditation and site visit in 2027. Finally, just a little bit about our goals for the program. So first, we have discussed quite frequently about including a certified veterinary assistant certification in the program or including that as part of a separate curriculum. However, this year we learned that there is a reciprocal program with the Texas Veterinary Medical Association to actually allow our students to complete their certified veterinary assistant level 1 after their first semester without having to complete the required clinical hours that are required for high school students. After semester 2, they're eligible to take their CVA 2, and after semester 3, they're eligible to take their CVA 3. So our students are able to get those certifications during this program, which helps to get them a little bit more workforce experience and a little bit more on their resume as they go out into the workforce with their LVT. So we actually have 9 students who are taking advantage of that opportunity this year, and we'll be proctoring that exam for them the week before school starts in January through January the 9th. And then finally, a few of our goals personally for program growth. We are currently able to accept between 24 and 28 students. Our limitation is partially chairs and partially instructors. Our classroom holds exactly 28 students, and we would love to fill it up. But ultimately, I think our goal would be to expand this program to include additional cohorts through additional instructors. It is a very popular program. Our students really love what they do. And it's a very needed career path. As a veterinarian working in the state of Texas, I did not actually have the opportunity to work with more than one LVT because there just aren't enough. So having those students with this education coming into practice makes a huge difference. And I want to see us be able to get more students into practice, into this career, because it's an amazing career. we love what we do. I don't think that you'll ever find a veterinarian or a vet tech that doesn't, at the heart, absolutely love this career. But that concludes our presentation. Thank you so much for your time. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you, Doc. Appreciate it very much. I believe we're down to agenda item number 9. I get to call on Mr. Baker once again. He has some announcements, I believe.
Yes, sir. Of course, we are about to go into our break, starting midday tomorrow. But we do have basketball as we come back. Our basketball teams will be being ready to start conference play, and those will begin on January the 8th, both for the men and the women here at WC. And then you're always invited to our ex-students luncheon. That's the second Monday of every month. Our next meeting will be January 13th at the Alumni House. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. We're to the point of entering into a closed session as noted on the agenda for real property matters and for employee matters. We will recess into closed session at 12:56 and return shortly. My timepiece says it's 1:51 p.m. It's still December the 19th, 2024, continuation of our board meeting after having completed our closed session. We're down to item number 11, consideration and possible action with regard to the sale of 40.619 acres vacant land in Weatherford, Texas under RFP-04-25. Ms. Cantrell.
Over this last month, we requested an RFP for the sale of the 40.619 acres of the Carter property. We had only one, we received only one bid from D.R. Horton in the amount of $4,200,000. The most recent appraisal last year that we had, we're required ever so often to have those appraisals, was at $5,920,000.
So the offer is below the appraised
Right.
value of the property.
Administration discussion and our recommendation to you at this time that we not accept.
Right. And do I have a motion to that effect that we reject the offer that was tendered for the stated property?
I make a motion that the Board of Trustees reject the proposal received by D.R. Horton in the amount of $4.2 million for the sale of 40.619 acres of vacant land in Weatherford, Texas out of the Carter property.
Is there a second to this motion?
Second.
All in favor, please raise your hand. It's unanimous. The proposal is rejected. Item number 12 recites consideration and possible action on other real property matters. What do we have there, Doctor?
No action necessary.
No action needed. All right. And we'll move on to item number 13, consideration of possible action, appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee. I don't think we have any action in that regard, so we'll conclude that item. And I ask, is there a motion to adjourn? Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? We are adjourned.